What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Wednesday weather update for Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I talk about the weather happenings in the U.S. and sometimes around the world. We talk about the expected weather, we talk about the extremes, the storms that are expected, weather records. We got some weather records today that we're going to talk about. So if you want to stay informed with just what's going on with the weather, subscribe down below. Give this a thumbs up. The more people that give this a thumbs up, the more YouTube is going to push this content throughout the algorithm. Of course, share this content with anyone you know. Leave your comments down below. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. You'll be notified when I do my new videos. Alrighty, we have to start off internationally today because over in the Philippines, Tropical Storm Trami has wreaked havoc, and it has unfortunately led to 14 people dying. Now, wind wasn't really the biggest issue with the storm. See the picture here. Look at the mud. Look at the water. There was a lot of rainfall that did occur with this storm. I mean, look at this. You're seeing this car that is just submerged in mud. That's not good. But, I mean, there was wind with this too. Maximum sustained winds was 53 miles per hour, and the gusts were reaching 65 miles per hour as this came on shore in the central region of the Philippines. And take a look at this. Here's the storm right here. It is now exiting the Philippines, but again, this was quite the storm for the Philippines. All right. Back here in the United States, we do have our continuing issues with the drought, and it's probably the biggest story that I've been talking about since I started doing videos again. Obviously, Milton, Helene, that was a big issue as well. But the reason why drought is such a big issue because the amount of the area, the size of the area that it's impacting is absolutely huge. We'll get a new drought update tomorrow. But hey, let's talk about this. Connecticut. This is something I don't see very often in Connecticut, and that is Connecticut is on alert for wildfires. That's right, Connecticut on alert for explosive wildfire growth as drought conditions are now creeping into the Northeast. Yeah, they're starting to get worse there. Look at this. Look at this in this picture. You can see there has been a wildfire there. Wow, yeah, not good whatsoever. And there has now been a death from a wildfire in Connecticut as well. All right, down in Virginia, which is just north of North Carolina, despite any rainfall from Helene, it's just not been enough. Virginia is still in drought conditions, and we're back into this dry pattern again, which I'll show you on the models, maybe persisting for some time. So, yeah, they made up for some ground from the summer drought, but now that summer drought has now turned into a fall drought, and this could be problematic for some of the crops down there. This is not good. It's not good for the sheep farms and a whole bunch of different things. So, yeah, we have to start concerning ourselves about this. I know here in Pennsylvania, a lot of farmers are starting to get concerned about the fruit trees as well. All right, there were some records in southeast Pennsylvania. Well, Mount Holly, New Jersey's watch air coverage area. There were some records yesterday. Georgetown, Delaware hit a new record, 84 degrees. Previous daily record was 83. Philadelphia yesterday, my home city, 84 degrees. Previous record 83. Reading, Pennsylvania, 86. The previous record was 83. Wilmington, Delaware yesterday hit 83 degrees. The previous record for that day was 81. Atlantic City tied a record, 83, as did Trenton, New Jersey, also tied a record at 83. And there were other records around the United States as well. All right, let's take a look at the latest satellite picture. Here's what was once Oscar. Now it's just a regular area of low pressure out in the Atlantic. That's going to push out to sea. You do see here the record temperatures we had yesterday in portions of the mid-Atlantic. That's not going to be the case today, and there is a front that's moving through. Not much to talk about with the front. The only thing is you can see it on satellite. It just does not have much in the way of moisture. So yet again, things stay dry in the mid-Atlantic and Northeast, which is really becoming a problem. Now taking a look at radar, you can see here, there's some minor showers along this, but most of what you see here on radar is just not reaching the ground. You got to go all the way up north of Toronto and Ottawa and north of Detroit to actually find anything that's probably reaching the ground with this. And then you see in Oregon there are some showers today. All right, taking a look at the National Hazards Map, and on here we do see fairly quiet across the United States. And let's refresh this, make sure nothing new's come in. But take a look at Connecticut. Red flag warnings are up in Connecticut for today. Taking a look at air qualities around the United States, and you're going to see a mixed bag of things. And you will see some areas that definitely have some poor air qualities, especially out where that front is, just ahead of it. There is some poor air quality, and anywhere where it's dry and there's potential for wildfires, air quality could get bad relatively quick if a wildfire does flare up. Taking a look at the West Coast, yeah, still wildfire issues for you as well, and with that comes bad air quality. Taking a look at the Hurricane Center over in the Eastern Pacific, Christy has now rapidly intensified into a major hurricane. Additional strengthening is expected. 954 millibars, 125 mile per hour winds, and it's moving west at 20 miles per hour. And you can see the latest track shows it'll probably weaken before it gets anywhere near Hawaii or anything. It's not likely to impact any of the islands. And in the regular Atlantic basin, you can see all is quiet right now. But I want to show you the GFS real quickly. And on the GFS, what I want to show you, let's rewind this. You're going to see here over the United States an area of high pressure, which by the way is going to keep things dry for many people, is going to anchor itself over the northeast and portions of the western Atlantic, just over the east coast. Underneath that high, we'll have to keep an eye if any disturbance gets going in the Caribbean, because if that does happen, watch what happens on the GFS. I'm just going to stop it right here. We're not going to go any further in the fantasy range. You could get areas of low pressure or disturbances that form, and who knows, you could still get more tropical systems. My point is, I don't think tropical season is just done yet. I think we're going across a few more names off of the tropical name list for this year. Alright, taking a look at the drought map. This will update tomorrow. You get the idea. Aside from the southeast U.S., which even there, in South Carolina and Georgia, there are areas of drought. The majority of the country is not doing very well, and I expect when this updates tomorrow, we're going to see more expansive dry conditions, drought conditions in the Northeast, because it's just been so dry. And here's the next 1 through 7 days. Hardly even a drop of rain in the Northeast. In fact, take a look at this map. Boston, New York City, okay, there's a tiny speck of 1/100th of an inch of rain. Big deal. Philadelphia, Baltimore, D.C., Richmond, Virginia, even almost down to Greensboro, no rainfall. Now, North Carolina, you can keep being dry for a while because you had all that rain from Helene. But you go up further north, we really need to start seeing something soon. And the next 1 through 7 days, it just doesn't happen. There could be some records broken. There could be, like Philadelphia, or at least here at my weather station, I may go down ending this month with 0.00 inches of rain. That's where I'm at right now, and we'll have to see if that holds. Now, you do see here, there is some precipitation across the Midwest. That's from a system that will impact you tomorrow. More on that in a moment. And you do see the Northwest of the United States is going to see multiple disturbances, multiple systems that will provide some rain and maybe even mountain snows. Taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow, there is a marginal risk of severe weather for portions of Iowa, Missouri, Nebraska, and Kansas. Right now, the threat is for hail. There could be a wind threat. They're not going with any tornado threat at this point. So again, this is for tomorrow, and I will time this out for you on the RGM model, and let's actually change that. We'll take a look at temperatures in just a moment. Here's the precipitation forecast, and you can see here, here's that low out in the Atlantic. We don't have to worry about that. Here's this front that comes through this evening. Hardly any moisture along it, but watch what happens tomorrow. You do have this disturbance that sets itself up tomorrow evening in the Midwest, and it will make its way across the Great Lakes, but once the heating, the day is gone, once it pushes further east, watch what happens. Yet again, another system that just loses its energy and just loses all of its moisture. You can see here, when that front comes through in the northeast, it doesn't do much, but maybe just a few isolated showers up in New England. And you can see the rest of the country for Saturday is for the most part dry, but we do have to keep our eyes on the Pacific Northwest. And let's actually go to that region right now, because I want to show this to you. You can see here, one disturbance after another is going to set up here. There comes one, and at the end of this, already you can see more moisture is setting up. So Oregon, Washington, even Idaho, rain and even higher elevation mountain snows is possible for you. Now let's switch back to, how about let's switch over to GFS now, and we're going to take a look at the temperatures going forward, because there's something here I gotta show you, and that is Halloween is looking really warm for a lot of places. So this weekend, it's going to cool down in the Northeast. Boston, New York City, Philadelphia. Don't expect any more record high temperatures this weekend, but maybe come some point next week, they may come back in play once again. You can see as we head into Monday, look at this in the plains. Yeah, I want to say the word heat. Heat is actually building once again. You do see temperatures in the upper 80s, and take a look at this. Yeah, even Chicago, you're going to be pushing 80 on Tuesday. Then come Wednesday, that starts to push east. And don't be surprised if some of these temperatures you're seeing here are underdone in the Northeast, because when you have such dry conditions like we're seeing right now, oftentimes models can underdo the temperatures by maybe 3 to even as much as 5 degrees. So it wouldn't surprise me. Here we are, October 31st, Halloween. Some of the major cities, maybe New York, Philadelphia, Washington, record 80 degrees on Halloween. It is something that is definitely possible. Take a look down in Texas. That's upper 80s for you. Yeah, near 90. And in the Pacific Northwest, below average temperatures are in the forecast for you. Take a look here on the CMC model. Just want to show you another model. This model is showing temperatures near 80 degrees across portions like New York, Philadelphia. It actually has 83 degrees in Philadelphia. So yeah, I think I would bet on the warmer guidance for this one. And the European model, that's been pushing close to 80 as well. So yeah, record warmth is looking likely now for Halloween for many areas east of the Mississippi. And take a look at this. Almost up to near Chicago on Halloween. You're talking near 80 degrees. Mind you, we're almost getting ready to go into November. This should not be happening. Alrighty, going back to the GFS, let's take a look now at what it shows for precipitation going forward. And really, in the mid to long range, not much. But there is something I want to point out to you here. Look at these lines, how they're really close together. That's not a good thing. That means a strong southwest flow. And when we have a strong southwest flow like this, which will eventually make its way further east, coupled with all the dry conditions, wildfire risk is going to be present for pretty much all of next week, generally from the plains on over to the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast. We're going to really have to pay close attention to that. Now we're in the 200-hour range. Here's another one of those fronts. This one's a little bit more slow moving, but watch what happens. Hardly any precipitation with it. And we can go almost into the fantasy range. In fact, no, we are in the fantasy range over 300 hours. Yeah, just pretty much nothing in the east. You'll continue to see multiple systems crashing into the Pacific Northwest. I think you're going to see well above average precipitation. And oh, look, there's a tropical threat down there, maybe entering the Gulf of Mexico. It's just one run. That'll change on future runs. But the point is, like I said earlier, I think the threat of another tropical system somewhere in the Atlantic, maybe a couple more named systems, does exist. Will it be a threat to the U.S.? We can't answer that at this time. Check back maybe in another week if it's still there. Alrighty, taking a look now at what is going on with the Climate Prediction Center. Yep, you just heard me talk about it, and I'll show it to you again. Well above average temperatures here are expected from the Great Lakes to the East Coast, right on down to the plains, to Texas, but below average in the West Coast. Well below average precipitation in the Northeast. Drought is going to continue to get much worse. And in the plains, above average precipitation for you, slightly above average. And we do have 6 to 10 day above average precipitation in the Northwest. California, aside from Northern California for the most part, will be dry. And we do see above average precipitation in Alaska and Hawaii. Much above average temperatures in the Northeast. I think even the first half of November is not going to be terribly cool. Matter of fact, I think there will be above average temperatures in many places. Maybe a couple days here and there will drop to normal or slightly below normal, but for the most part, we're looking at above average. And the same goes for the plains as well. And then you get to the West Coast, slightly below average. Now you start to see this above average precipitation in the 8 to 14 day range. Try and shift these. It doesn't make much progress. And Mid-Atlantic region through the Northeast still below average, slightly above average for Florida. And then places like Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, you're still going to be dealing with a wet pattern. So, yes, that's something we're going to have to continue to watch. Alrighty, folks, that does it for Wednesday's weather update. We will probably have another update tomorrow, as we will get new drought information, and of course, if any news comes along, I'll add that in there as well. I do try to add some news from time to time, such as what we saw in the Philippines, the drought news, the records, all that type, and wildfires. Yeah, we're going to be seeing more wildfires popping up. So I will see you all again next time. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Want to see more content like this? Subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, and share this video with anyone you know. I'll see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe and have a fantastic Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for watching.